Hi, I'm Jocelyn from At Peace Therapy Centers. I wanted to do a video blog today on radical acceptance. I feel like it's easier explained than written about, and so I thought it'd be a much easier video to watch than a text to read. So, radical acceptance is a skill that I teach in DBT, and DBT stands for Dialectical Behavior Therapy. Dialectic is Marsha Linehan created dialectical behavior therapy, and dialectic means to balance and compare two things that appear to be very different. So one of the things that we practice in DBT is balance between change and acceptance. And a lot of times I see people that feel like they need to change or be someone that they're not, or be someone that they think that they should be. When in actuality our pain would decrease if we just accepted who we are. One of the things that I do tell a lot of my clients is that you're not broken, that you just feel broken. And once we start to realize that our feelings are different from facts, then we start to look at the world a little bit differently. So this goes back to radical acceptance, in that we want to be able to radically accept, or I even like to use the word acknowledge, radically acknowledge, because sometimes accept is really hard to do when we're in a really dark place. Sometimes we have some beliefs around the word of acceptance as well. So when I use the word accept, a lot of times clients believe that that means they have to be okay or they have to like where they're at, and that's not true. That's a judgment. So if I change it up a little bit and say radical acknowledgement, then it tends to be a little bit easier to grasp the concept. But basically, we want to be able to accept where we are without criticizing or judging ourselves, really comparing ourselves to other people. And it's radical because it's really hard to do. I like to use chronic pain or depression as an example. So somebody suffering from chronic pain that's having a flare-up might tend to think in absolutes, like, I'm always going to feel this way, or when is my life going to be better? I can't do this anymore. What's another one? I'm dysfunctional. Why would anybody love me when I'm so crippled? Things like that. And the truth is that none of those things are true. They're just beliefs that we've created, or value judgments that we've created about that pain that might not be even true, but it makes us feel a lot worse. So sometimes we get stuck in that cycle of suffering, allowing ourselves to think that way, and it's more harm than good. So radical acceptance would allow us to then accept that we're in that place and then move forward. We have radical accepting coping statements. I'm going to hold you guys up this book that I use for my DBT classes. It's hard to see. There you go. So I use this for all my DBT classes. I love this workbook. It's so easy to use. I'll definitely put a link to it on this blog post. So it could be used to teach in a class, or it could be used at home by yourself. And it's really a step-by-step guide. It's really great for clients. But it has a list of coping statements that sometimes that we need to say when we're in places like that. And I call it my black pit of despair, or tar, my black tar pit, something that's really hard to get out of, like quicksand. When we're stuck in quicksand, the more we fight it, the harder it is to get out of it. But the second we quit struggling, we can get out of that quicksand. And I think that's the important thing to remember when we're stuck in that cycle. Just allow ourselves to calm down, breathe, and accept that we're stuck in some quicksand, and then we're going to be able to get out of that quicksand. And that's really what radical acceptance is all about. So some of the coping statements: the situation won't last forever. This too shall pass. I've already been through many other painful experiences, and I've survived. I can be anxious and still deal with the situation. This is an opportunity for me to learn and cope with my fears. I can ride this out and not let it get to me. These are just my feelings, and they'll eventually go away. I like to think of the feelings like water, and they'll pass. So, this too shall pass. My feelings will pass. Also, not letting your feelings overcome the situation. When we're in a chronic pain situation or a flare-up or deep depression, our feelings and emotions tend to override our system and really jade our judgment and make it so it's harder to get out. Radical acceptance allows us to be in that moment and accept or acknowledge that we're there and be compassionate to that. So, you know what? I'm in this place. I'm in pain today. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be in pain tomorrow, but what am I going to do today to be compassionate to myself rather than judging? Same goes for depression. What am I going to do to be compassionate to myself today and know that tomorrow may be different? A lot of times it's just acknowledging that we're depressed, and then that will pass. It's our body's trying to tell us that we have something going on and we don't want to recognize it. So that's just a short snippet on radical acceptance. I hope it was helpful. If you want to learn more about radical acceptance or more about coping techniques and strategies, DBT is definitely a great class or a great skill base to learn. I'll put a link to the book that I use. We're also starting up a lot of new classes. Would love for you to join in if this is something that you're interested in. A lot of times people that really benefit from DBT are people that feel too much. They have a lot of emotions and don't know what to do with that, or they feel too little and don't express any emotions or have trouble expressing emotions, and so they tend to be a little bit compartmentalized. I like to see both of those people in the group and get them to work together to get a little bit more towards the middle, which I call the gray. Well, thank you so much. This is Jocelyn Hilling with At Peace Therapy Centers, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.